Simon. Good evening, Toastmasters. I think most of us have been in this sort of situation before. This spreadsheet comes up at the end of the meeting and someone, Dan Burfoot, notices that it's been a while since your last speech. You reluctantly concede and say, yeah, I can speak next week. I have a whole week. It's plenty of time to come up with something. And then you blink and it's Sunday night and you've done nothing to prepare for a speech. You don't know what to talk about and you have no idea what you're going to do. Well, don't worry, Toastmasters. You don't need to call out sick and you don't need to panic, because here's your guide for pulling a last minute speech out of your wherever last minute speeches come from. Step one can be done over breakfast, the day of your speech. You pick a topic that you're very comfortable with, something familiar to you. It could involve your profession, a favorite hobby, could be about the book you just read, or the Netflix series you're binging. It doesn't matter. As long as you could pick up the phone and talk to a friend about it for 5 to 7 minutes, that's a good topic. For example, when I'm pressed for time, I will usually resort to one of the mini TED Talks that I give my clients about how bodies work or ways to build healthy habits. And I'll turn that into a speech. It's something I talk about easily, and it's not difficult for me to turn that into a simple outline that I can use for the speech in 12 to 13 hours. Step number 2 can usually be done by lunch. You need to make up a good reason to share this information with the group. For instance, when I gave my speech on bone density and weightlifting, I was only sharing information about how bones grow and how you can be smart and apply that to your strength training. That's not particularly relevant to anyone in the club. So to make the speech impactful, I had to pad it with purpose. To do that, I did a quick Google search of the rates of osteoporosis, which I knew were alarming, so that I could cite them in my speech and then frame my information that's easy for me to talk about as the solution for this truly concerning problem of low bone density, making my speech relevant to everyone present because we all have bones. Now, this can be the hardest part of my 3-step plan. Sometimes we're running out of time and we just can't figure out how to make this material relevant, especially if it's very technical or specific to something involving our career, some niche thing. So rather than run out of time, skip to step 3. And you work your way around it by telling the club that they are not your target audience for this speech. You give them a plausible target audience. It's a bit of a cop-out, but in a pinch, it works great. Now, step 3, you want to write 3 well-crafted sentences and commit them to memory. This is sound advice for any speech, but it will give your rushed, ill-prepared speech a polished final draft sort of feel. So these people think you spent time on this sucker. You can usually come up with these phrases in the lulls of your day. Going to get a second cup of coffee, tidying up your desk, washing the dishes. They'll come to you and they'll stick. It's not that hard. I find that placing these sentences in your introduction, in your most difficult or awkward transition, and in your conclusion are a formula for success. By placing it in your introduction, it gives people the sense of like, wow, they prepared for this and they trust you. Planning out your most difficult transition ahead of time is crucial to maintaining flow when you're short on time to prepare. Transitions can be difficult even in the most well-rehearsed speech. And when you put together your outline over breakfast, sometimes things don't fit the way you want them to. In my experience, these transitions are where we stumble on our words or lose the thread of our speech, and then the jig is up. We get nervous, the nerves take over, it's hard to recover. So plan that sticky spot ahead of time and nail it. Lastly, placing a practice phrase in your conclusion allows the group to see that you didn't just run out of things to say. It shows a through line of thought that implies preparation. You'll have them all fooled. So dearest Toastmasters, next time you find yourself woefully unprepared to give a speech the day of, follow my 3-step plan for success. Choose any topic you can speak about with ease. Pad that topic with purpose and put a carefully crafted, well-rehearsed sentence in your introduction, your awkward transition, because you know you'll have one, and your conclusion. These tips will allow you to deliver a seemingly well thought out, rehearsed speech in a fraction of the amount of time that you should have spent preparing. It's a tried and true method coming from a master procrastinator, and I believe it will serve you all well. Thank you very much.